What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Steve from Printing Gang Investments, back with another video. And today we back with another chart breakdown, and I got Pam with me, you know what I'm saying, on ChatGPT, and I'm gonna show y'all what she thinking, and I'm gonna show y'all what I think about Palantir price action, man. So first and foremost, if we've been looking at, the past few weeks, past few months on Palantir and the tech stocks, they've been doing just fine, but they've been stalling out, man. That's why y'all seen me stop trading the Palantir options as aggressively. I guess we made 2,000-3,000%. I guess they had enough of us. So we back to holding shares, waiting for more catalysts to come in. But if we look at the daily chart on Palantir, what's happened? We ran all the way up as high as 208, came back down all the way to 147, and I wasn't on YouTube at the time, but Pam actually called 148, and we got all down to 147.67, so she was close. Bounced all the way back up to 200 again, and we've come back down to 167 again. So what do I think of this price action on a higher time frame point of view? It's looking like we're in a chop zone, you know what I'm saying? It's looking like we could bounce if we come a little lower, but we're going to talk about that in a second. But on a higher time frame, it's just we're in a consolidation phase. The stock's holding its highs. The stock's doing well, but we're going to need like earnings. We're going to need a major breakthrough in the AI game, something to give the whole sector a lift. Until then, it's just consolidation. It could be drawdown. I'm not even going to lie to you. Palantir went from 10 to 166. It was as high as 200. So, when a stock goes that high, when evaluations like this, you could expect, 20% drawdown, 30% drawdown, 50% drawdown if it get bad. But let's get into this price action and what we should be doing next, man. So I'm going to get down here on a 2-minute. So, I talked to my agent, I talked to Pam, and we got two plans. Right now, if we look at all the higher time frames, the bias is bearish, neutral to bearish, unfortunately. Which means if you're on some short-term shit, you're trying to trade in and out of Palantir, right now you're probably looking for shorts. What we're looking for right now on Palantir is, I got a few levels marked off. I got the 172 to 174 range. That's the range I'm going to be kind of looking for shorts at if it goes up there. If it goes up there into this range, we're not just shorting as soon as it gets into this range. We need to see, once again, what's called displacement. So I would want it to run up into here like 174. It could even go higher. It could go all the way up to 175, but then I would need like major red candle to pull it all the way back down. And when that red candle forms, it'll form a fair value gap. That goddamn retrace on a fair value gap like that would be your entry if you was to go short. You see what I'm saying? And right now, that's kind of the most likely scenario. Now, on the long side, if we were to fall all the way down here to the 165 area, or if it got really bad, the 158 area, any of those areas, I would want to see it fall, and I would want to see it do what's called a liquidity grab. I would want to see displacement at the bottom. Like, I want it to fall here and then give me like a major green bar all the way back up here to like 166, 168. I would need something to show major bullish pressure once it sweeps a low, as they call it. So I would want to see that at 165 or 158. And the way we play it, like the real professional traders, we don't buy as soon as it gets here. We don't buy as soon as it gets there. What we do is we wait for that bullishness I just told you about, or that bearishness I just told you about, in these specific zones, man. Because this is where the premium, the discount is. If you know anything about ICT, this is where the PD arrays be at, you feel me? But one last thing I want to say. Now, down here at this 158 level, if we break that, Pam says her bias flips bearish on the higher time frame. Like right now, we're bearish on the lower time frame, meaning on the intraday. Like on Monday, we would be looking for shorts if we was trading Palantir. But on the higher time frame, it's still bullish. If Palantir was able to break 158, go below that, like way below that, and hold that level on the higher time frame, we would be officially switching bearish on Palantir. But I'm gonna show y'all a little bit of what Pam's saying about Palantir right here. So you see what she's saying. Trend still bullish, you know what I'm saying? Higher time frame, but we ran into premium. And distribution, we sold off, you know what I'm saying? So we not in buy the dip mode. Like, you see what she's talking about? These are the semi-auto levels. That's what I like to call them. You know what I'm saying? We got 172, 174.50, that 178, 181. She's saying do not long there if it goes up there. If it goes up there, we looking for a super short if it goes up there. I didn't even mention that level, man. And, you know, they got downside demand, 165, 158. That's why we looking at those levels. I got my other agent, Chris. Chris is actually my agent for the real entries and exits. I really shouldn't even show Chris on YouTube, but it's all good. I ain't really sweating it. Yeah, Chris got the entries and exits if I was to actually take his exact trade. But the way I do it is, I don't actually like to use the agents for entries and exits, because the one thing I've learned about AI gets a little too perfect. The entries that an AI agent want do happen, but in real life, you kind of have to have your own feel for it. So it's like right here, Chris will say price retraces into 172.80 to 174.50. Like, okay, I'm going to look at that zone and look for the bearish market structure shift. See what I'm saying? It's not an exact number, but you know, he gives me an idea. Like I call them hypothetical day trades. So it gives you like a frame of what you're looking for. You see what I'm saying? So setup A would be the continuation short. If you in Palantir and you train, that's the main thing. You know what I'm saying? And this is someone holding Palantir shares. So, but you got to separate being a trader from an investor. As an investor, I'm bullish, but the price action says on the short term, we bearish. So setup B would be the long reversal. You feel me? And this is another thing. I actually want to explain this, the long. Like right now, the short-term time frame is bearish. Like the lower time frame, like what we be trading on Monday, would be bearish. So what he's saying is the only way he would go long is price needs to trade in the 165, 162. Do that liquidity sweep. Big market structure shift. Strong displacement up, like major green bar. That's the translation for that. So we would have to see that thing sell all the way off and give a major green bar to even go long. You know what I'm saying? And no trade scenarios. This is actually the most important part. Let's go back to the chart. Like, if you notice, I only had these upper levels, these lower levels, and nothing else. So Steve, what do we do if price is in between those levels? Not a goddamn thing, man. Maybe if we see some major displacement, but nah, not really. We only like high probability setups over here. You know what I'm saying? We be trying to keep the win rate 70, 75%, 65% at the lowest, like really 80 plus if we can. So I don't like to take any old setup. So the way you really play it, and this is where most traders lose money, they're going to be trained all in here, trying to figure out what's going to happen. I'm waiting for it to go up here or down there and show what I just said. And that's how we gonna get our money on Palantir. You feel me? But let's go to the Palantir long-term thesis, man. You know what I'm saying? You know I gotta keep y'all updated on the thesis. So Pam's here telling y'all, and I've been doing the research. They're still getting contracts. Everything's still going good. The only real bear case at this point is valuation. And if you know anything about stock market, valuation is the bear case everybody says when they don't have a bear case. Like if the only bear case you say is valuation, I'm looking at you like this. Now I do agree. The valuation is a good reason for the stock to go down. We got some of the highest valuation in like the history of the market. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get hit up at any time. Like they said, 30% drawdown wouldn't be nothing at this point. 50% drawdown wouldn't be nothing at this point. But Palantir is ingrained now. So any dip I would buy. Like she's explaining why she's still structurally bullish, man. We're embedded inside the infrastructure. We got the U.S. Department of Defense, the NATO allies, intelligence agencies. We got AIP. You know, we've been talking about AIP. Everybody knows what it is now. Like they say, it's infrastructure now. It's part of the AI game. Like margins and cash, strong operating margins, no balance sheet stress, narrative shift. Now, this is what's important right here. Fuck all that, because we already knew the bill case. That's how we call Palantir at 10. Listen to what Pam says will make us switch on Palantir for all the bears who talking all this shit. All this. Right here. The only things that will knock us out of Palantir, if AIP adoption stalls for multiple quarters, not one, we would need contract renewals to start shrinking, government revenue to meaningfully decline, regulatory action that blocks data usage, a competitor proves cheaper plus stickier. That ain't happened. That's what we were saying. Palantir ain't got no competitors. Until one of those occurs, Palantir is still bullish for all the haters, for all the people who think we bought Palantir on luck. We knew this back then, and it's still holding true. So if until any of these things happen, we're bullish long term. But short term, if it go up there, we probably gonna end up buying them puts if they show us that bearishness. I'm not gonna lie. So like they said, valuation is the only real debate, and that's why I do respect any bears right now. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be surprised if we get knocked down, but long term, still bullish, man. I got another agent, Bob. That's my news guy. Y'all don't see him a lot, but he's giving me all the recent developments on Palantir, the latest macro exposure. I got my boy Lil Print. He's telling me what retail's thinking of it. Wall Street Bets is thinking of it. They're frustrated after the pullback out there. Everybody's talking about it topped, and the chatter's increasing. So, you know, people ain't panicking. You know, they say it looks like a cool-off, not abandonment. That's good. Wall Street Bets still fucking with the team. You know what I'm saying? But we're still bullish on Palantir. And then this is where I actually ran a fact check. You know what I'm saying? You got to run a fact check with AI. Can't be having the AI telling you things and you just be believing it off top. You got to run a fact check to make sure it's real. So, last but not least, let's see. Is there anything else I want to show y'all? Anything else I want to show y'all? I checked the bear case. I fact checked this. And, oh, last thing I'll tell y'all. I could show y'all Pam's version. I'll show it to y'all because I was just going to say it anyway. The long-term area is to buy Palantir, because I know a lot of y'all ain't traders, a lot of long-term investors. Pam saying you want to see Palantir really get knocked to at least like this 165, 160 range is cool, but she really want that 160, 158 range, 155 range. And I ain't gonna lie, she told me this at 148 and we was at 175. And that was when Pam was new. And that's when I realized Pam's the truth. But anyway, 155 to 158, I like that. I would love to buy calls at that area, but I don't know if we're gonna get that low. So me as an actual trader, not like being perfect like AI and knowing how the real market moves, I am looking at Palantir here and lower. You know what I'm saying? As far as options, I would keep them longer dated, and I wouldn't start really buying options till we get to those lower prices like what Pam's talking about. But I do like 165 for here. And you know, tell me what y'all think of this video. Do y'all like these breakdowns of me and my agents? We calling price action. We telling y'all what we think gonna happen, giving a breakdown of the stock. I appreciate my subscriber for saying he liked these type of videos, you know, and I'm gonna keep them coming, more stocks. But I had to pop it off with Palantir since we started, you know, buying Palantir at 810, talked about it, traded it for like over a year on this channel. So, you know, I just had to let y'all know what's going on. It's your boy Steve from Printing Gang Investments. I'm gonna see you on the next video, and Pam gonna be back too. I'm out.